So today we have the privilege of speaking to Mr. MANCOBA MABUZA. I hope I've pronounced it rightly. He is an author, he is also an activist, and he is from Eswatini land. And he is also a friend of Rwanda. How are you, sir?
Good day. Thank you so much, Tesi, for having us.
So let's just begin with your experience in Rwanda. It's your first time in this country. What has been your experience?
It has been quite a great experience. From the moment I first came here in the airport, the hospitality of the Rwandan people is amazing. So everyone is willing to help you. And I also saw a very clean city of Kigali. Things that I actually have been told before. But when you see it firsthand, it's very amazing.
Actually, let's speak about the National Umushyikirano Council that you were part of. What lessons did you learn?
Well, I think for me, what was outstanding from the conference was an African leader sitting down with his people to discuss what was resolved in the previous year and then giving a report. That is accountability at the highest level. For a leader to say, here is what you sent us the previous year, here is where we are, and this has been going on for about 17 years now. For me, that was outstanding. But also ordinary people speaking with their president from rural areas through the screens and sending text messages and having the president responding to those questions, comments, and concerns from ordinary people on the ground. For me, that was a great experience.
You said that you've been studying Rwanda for a while. What have you found to be unique about Rwanda's governance?
I just come to the conclusion that there is political will on the part of the government to get things done. You know, African leaders are just all talk and nothing tangible. So what is unique about the political system of Rwanda? One is just there is political will, but two, there is the accountability. You know, the national dialogue is just one example of accountability. But also, I mean, there is a young cabinet, so very young ministers, and that must be commendable because it means you have a future. When you blend the old and the new, and also the empowerment of women, the involvement of women in leadership, for me, that was very unique.
I think Africa is one of the richest continents. We have natural resources. I can even say some of the best brains are in Africa. But yet we are still so poor. What is lacking in the African continent? What is lacking in our governance? What's the problem, in your opinion?
There are many things. I think one of them is that many people are so threatened by building a country on the basis of ideas. So you find that our best in the continent are even outside. They are in Europe or America or elsewhere. In Eswatini, where I come from, our best, some of our best are in South Africa. They are in other parts of the world, you know, in private sector and strategic areas. And you sit down and be like, we should be having these brains here, but they don't find space. They are frustrated because the political leaders are not willing to develop a country on the basis of ideas. But secondly, the corruption is the institutionalization of corruption in Africa is so scary. If it wasn't for corruption, it would be far. But again, everything rises and falls on leadership. So if leaders must decide, no stealing, have legal frameworks, must have institutions, must be enforced without exception.
There is this issue where African countries have wonderful visions. They have great policies, but there is a gap between vision and implementation. In your opinion, how do we bridge that gap? How do we overcome that challenge?
Yeah, I don't even think it's about a vision. It's just dreams. Most people just dream and think they have crafted a vision. In Swaziland, there's what is called Vision 2022. But you could tell it's just a dream. We saw Kigali in 2050 being projected on the screen. Now that's a vision because it's crafted, it's conceptualized. This is where we need to be. This is how we want to see ourselves in the next 30 years or 50 years. Or even countries like China have even developed 150-year strategies. So that's what's a vision. That's where we want to go. And now it is only then that you can be able to have an execution strategy. Involve the people, share the vision as a leader, define it clearly where you want to, and then involve them in terms of execution. That's where most African countries are also failing. When it comes to execution, punctuality, they don't keep time. They are not obsessed with efficiency in terms of delivery. We had President Kagame talking about the need to have young people who are innovative to be in the mainstream. That is very good. So that the execution is quite pronounced. So that is, I think, what I find to be lacking in terms of what we call vision and why at the end of the day they are not done. The political will for me is superior to everything.
So my last question, if you were given the platform to speak to African leaders, what would be your message?
I'd say they must be very honest with each other. In some instances, I just wish I could tell, for instance, I just posted something on Facebook saying if we were to have the United States of Africa, I would have President Kagame to lead it. Because I can't ask more of a leader outside of vision. The passion to develop people and then engaging them, accounting to the people and getting everyone to rally behind development. So if I were to talk to African leaders, I'd say be honest with each other. Put the interest of the people first. And it's not about individual leaders who are in power. It's about the people. Whatever you are, even if you are presiding over a state or managing a budget, it's not yours and your friends or your family. It's for the people. It's to build roads, hospitals, schools, and everything else. So that's what African leaders must be obsessed with. The interest must be with the people. That's what attracted me to Rwanda.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. It's been a joy.
Yes.